The final words of the Bardo Fado are, "Let virtue and goodness be perfected in every way." As the soul is reborn once again, the cycle of samsaric existence will eventually take place yet again at the time of death. The 6 realms of existence, or 6 lokas, explain the cycle of rebirth and death that Buddhists experience. The 6 lokas are described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead in the 2nd stage, or Chanyad Bardo. The cycle of rebirth and death is perpetuated by ignorance, greed, pride, anger, and jealousy, and each constitutes as suffering in samsara. Pride results in a birth into the 1st realm, or the God realm. Jealousy results in birth into the demigod realm. Greed results with rebirth in the Preta realm, and ignorance results in birth into the animal realm. Anger results in being born into one of the hell realms, either a hot hell or a cold hell. Each of these 6 lokas, or realms, has an environment with specific characteristics and traits. The 1st realm, the God realm, is the highest of the 6 realms and can be equated with a never-ending college party. Enlightenment is easiest to reach at this realm. However, it is difficult to perform good deeds in this carefree, blissful environment. In this realm, there is always great music, delicious food, and the body never gets hungover. Money is not a concern, and everyone is young and beautiful. Here one is convinced that he or she will never die, and that the pleasure being experienced is permanent until one's good karma has been spent. However, once one's good karma is spent, he or she starts to die, reek of decay, and if enlightenment is not reached, the soul is thrown back into the Bardo state without any knowledge about its future. The 2nd realm of existence in Buddhism is the demigod realm, which is also known as the realm of the Titans, or Asuras. Jealousy and paranoia result in birth into this realm. Those in this realm are very jealous of the God realm and of each other. The Titans spend all of their time fighting with each other and looking over their shoulders out of paranoia. These Titans spend so much time being paranoid and jealous that they completely forget what they learned about the Dharma or the teachings of the Buddha. The 3rd realm of existence is the human realm and the animal realm. Being born into this realm rarely occurs. It happens as often as there is a lone sea turtle in the ocean. Every 100,000 years, the turtle comes to the surface for breath. This is the only realm wherein sentient beings can overcome adversity and reach enlightenment. Since it is so rare to be human, Dharma practice should be of the utmost importance. Unlike the human realm, the animal realm is nothing but suffering. In this realm, animals suffer because they live lives of ignorance and have no way of obtaining knowledge or moving towards enlightenment. Herbivores live in a state of constant flux, never safe, and in a never-ending search for food, and always in fear of carnivores. The carnivores are doomed from the beginning. As they are driven by instinct, they must kill other innocent animals, otherwise they themselves will die. Although neither the human realm nor the animal realm are the most desirable realms of existence according to Buddhists, there are actually much lower, worse realms to be born into. A realm where souls are less off than they may be in the human or animal realm is the realm of the hungry ghosts, also known as the Preta realm. Greed results in being born into this realm. Hungry ghosts suffer from a greed that can never be satisfied because they have large stomachs and very small mouths. In the Preta realm, food and water is scarce, and when it exists, it does so in the form of blood, bile, and other disgusting forms. When the hungry ghosts consume food, it burns their throats and stomach like fire. Even if these hungry ghosts were offered a never-ending buffet, they would never be satisfied because they are so greedy. The more they get, the more they want. The hungry ghost's greed produces a never-ending suffering, which permits them from ever entering enlightenment. Although it may seem as though it couldn't possibly get any worse than being in the realm of the hungry ghosts, there is actually a set of realms that are much less desirable. The hell realms are the lowest realms of existence in Buddhist tradition. Anger results in being born into one of the hell realms. There are several different hells, up to 136, which are divided into 8 hot hells and 8 cold hells. The hot hells include the following: the reviving hell, the black line hell, the crushing hell, the wailing hell, the great wailing hell, the hot hell, the greatly hot hell, and the unceasing hell. The cold hells include the blister hell, the bursting blister hell, the burr hell, the alas hell, the chattering teeth hell, the utpella flower hell, and the cracked like a lotus hell, and the greatly cracked like a lotus hell. Each hell realm is a journey of pure suffering, and the hells just listed are said to be minor in retrospect to the other hells. The journey through all of the hells can take eons and eons. In these hells, Dharma is completely erased from all thoughts, and at these hells it is obviously impossible to reach enlightenment. The hells are one of several realms of existence in Buddhist tradition, all of which occur to the soul after death. But what types of activity occurs on and around the body after death? There are several rituals and activities related to death in Buddhist culture. The first underlying principle includes rituals of elevation. These rituals aim at purification of bad karmas that may drag one down to undesirable realms. Such rituals would include chanting with accompaniment of ritual musical instruments, offering candles, flowers, incense, food and drink, and sutras. The most common of the sutras include the Amitabha Sutra, the Heart Sutra, the Diamond Sutra, and the Earth Treasure Sutra. Such rituals are usually performed by professionals who may or may not be members of the Sangha, or they can also be performed by family members or friends. A second underlying principle in Buddhist culture includes acts of merits. Acts of merits are dedicated to the enlightenment of all sentient beings and also to the well-being of the deceased. Another ritual involves chanting the name of the Buddha or the Amitabha Buddha near the dying person. This is done in order to invoke the blessings of the Buddha and provide hope and serenity. It also promotes an environment where the dying can learn for him or herself how to face death with tranquility. Chanting is a very important ritual, and there are actually groups dedicated to it. For example, there is a help chant group in Taiwan and even California. Chant groups, sutras, and other rituals are just one part of what the Buddhist desired environment for death is. The desired environment for the dying, according to Buddhist culture, includes a peaceful and comfortable environment to start, and the focus should also be on the state of mind of the dying person. The final thoughts of the dying should be free from worldly attachments and directed towards the Buddha, enlightenment, Pure Land, and Bodhisattva. After the moment of death, the body should not be touched in any way until 8 hours after it has lost its pulse. It is also important for people around the dying person to withhold feelings of grief so as not to disturb his or her peace of mind. In the case of an accidental death, the person is left alone with his or her spiritual maturity and the Buddha's blessing to rely on. Buddhas should be prepared and are recommended to recite a mantra daily in order to boost their spiritual maturity in the case that an accidental death should occur. Both rituals of elevation and acts of merit should definitely be performed to those who committed suicide or who have been killed by abortion in order to reduce the chances of their haunting the living. After a body is deceased and his or her loved ones have waited the instructed 8 hours to touch the body, then there are rituals related to what happens next also. Before anything happens to the body of the deceased, Buddhists must wait until it is completely cold before it is cleaned and dressed. If the eyes are not closed, they should be covered with hot, wet towels. Usually, new clothing, shoes, and ornaments are used to adorn the deceased. After the body is prepared and rituals are performed, it is put into the coffin with family members, all bearing witness. Typically, the coffin stays in a funeral home, where offerings such as candles, incense, flowers, fruit, etc. are given in honor of the deceased and his or her family. In the case of an accidental death, the family, usually accompanied by professionals, goes to the location to call and escort the soul home. Buddhists usually perform a burial. However, some families may decide on cremation. After appropriate measures have been taken to the body and appropriate rituals have been performed, it is Buddhist culture to make an announcement of the death. Buddhists take several actions to announce the death of their loved ones so that friends and family members can pay their dues and make offerings. At home, families post a white piece of paper announcing the death on their front porch. Inside the home, a temporary altar is set up with photos and a lotus seat is placed in its center. A lotus seat is a paper or wooden rectangular block with the name of the deceased written on it, and it is the location of the consciousness residing temporarily. This altar stays set up in the home for 49 days and is the location for any other rituals to take place, and for friends and family to come pay respect. Every 7th day after the death, professionals are invited to perform even more rituals. This is based on the notion that the consciousness is in the limbo state, would go through a dying process every 7 days. Aside from the ceremonies in the household, a memorial service or farewell ceremony is also held and is chosen according to Chinese lunar calendar. At these ceremonies, families and friends of the deceased gather to show respect and listen to eulogies. Immediate family members